This is a Dreamcast disc and is for use only on a Dreamcast unit. Playing this disc on a hi-fi or other audio equipment can cause serious damage to its speakers.
Dreamcast, up to 6 billion players.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
Why don't we play together?
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go!
Please stop this disc now.
Welcome to another podcast where a group of nerds talk nonsense about a console nobody cares about. This is DreamPod, episode 35. Welcome. My name is Tom, and I'm joined by an international stellar cast. We've got Mike Phelan. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Tom.
We've got Aaron the Gaggerman Foster. Hi, Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Tom.
Aaron's gone again. And we also have, as you just didn't hear, we've got Caleb as well. Hello, Caleb.
Pokemon Go, more like Pokemon Stop.
Ooh, topical.
All right, Pokemon Go do one.
Oh, you've joined us now, Aaron. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, it disappeared again for some reason.
Yeah, the never-ending struggle of trying to get this podcast up and running. Before we begin the podcast, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Just a few little housekeeping notices before we jump in and discuss our main topics. The first thing I want to talk about is iTunes reviews. If you listen to the podcast and you like it, please just go on iTunes if you can do that and give us a review, because it helps with our awareness of the podcast. Also, I wanted to say a massive thank you from myself and everybody else here on the DreamPod to thank you to all the people who continue to support us on Patreon, because without that, then to be honest, I don't think we'd continue with it really, because up until recently, myself and Rob were both paying for the hosting out of our own pocket, and it does become a bit of a burden when you have to keep paying for it out of your own pocket. So with contributions from Patreon, it's enabled us to be free of that. So thank you to those people. Another thing I wanted to speak about, guys, I don't know, do any of you listen to other podcasts, regularly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what do you listen to? What are the podcasts?
What don't I listen to? I literally listen to everything. I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to everything on Earwolf, Comedy Bang Bang, Lauren Lapkus. I listen to the people on Max Fun. Well, actually, I don't listen to many of them. I only listen to Sawbones. I listen to My Brother and Me. I listen to a bunch of D&D podcasts, most of which are not updating frequently. I listen to my own podcast, Not My Generation, on YouTube.
Nice plug. Nice plug.
Yes. And there's a 1.5 million podcasts out there, and they're all pretty good.
Yeah, same. I mean, I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts, the big ones like Giant Bomb and the Giant Beast Cast. There's a UK one called videogamer.com.
Do you listen to the one that is by Pat, the NES punk, and his friend
Brilliant.
Ian?
Yes, it's great.
It's so funny. That sad sack Ian looks exactly like my friend that I know in town. Yeah, he's a sad. I've grown to like him because he's grown more and more miserable looking. So I kind of just even though I don't agree with anything that he says, it's like, oh, Ian, I can't stay mad at you.
I quite like Pat. I mean, because I emailed him when I was having that issue with the Dreamcast book that Mike wrote, and he was quite helpful. If I can
bring up Pat, the NES punk.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, I was in a bad state of mind, and I actually left a very angry comment that they were comparing the people that made the Genesis 3 Majesto software.
Oh yeah.
They were comparing them directly to the people that were trying to make the Dreamcast 2. And I felt the podcast actually was implying that there was the Dreamcast 2 people weren't at fault. It was just these third parties within the group that kind of ruined it, and that there was, and obviously I had a difference of opinion of that. And I felt that anybody listening to that podcast who didn't really know the situation might assume that certain people involved with that product were honest people that were trying to put out something good, and not, as far as I'm concerned, there was obvious scammers involved with that product. And so I was a little bit miffed that they didn't just call it out. This people involved with this.
Yeah, I mean, the
scammers.
Genesis 3 was actually a thing. It actually came out. and actually worked.
So they had that conversation where they directly compared those companies, and perhaps I did not have the best reaction to that, and so Pat kind of called me on the pod in the comments, and so it's like, I love those guys, and I probably shouldn't have said anything, but I was just like, it's...
Well, no, cool. I mean, the reason I actually ask about different podcasts is because I was fortunate enough to be invited onto another gaming podcast in the last week or so, and that podcast is called Back in My Play, which is an American podcast. And it's a retro gaming podcast. And I just wanted to give the Kevin, the guy who presents it, a shout out, because he's doing a series of Dreamcast related podcasts, and he's called it the Summer of Dreamcast. So if you go onto Google and type Back in My Play or iTunes, give that a listen, because he's doing a whole series of different Dreamcast related episodes. And each one is on a different subject. So you've got one that's all about his history with the Dreamcast. There's a Shenmue-focused episode. There's an episode about the different European and Japanese exclusives. And then I was on an episode talking about indie games and homebrew and that kind of thing. So, yeah, just go and give Kevin a look up on Twitter and Back in My Play podcast a listen. That was really cool.
Have you already been on there, or is this in the future?
It's coming next week, I believe, or the week after.
Ask him if he ever got any of his Dreamcast stuff stolen. Because I swear to God, every single person I've talked to who owned a Dreamcast back in the day, I think that was the most stolen console ever.
Another thing, only a couple more things before we jump into the main meat of the podcast. Myself and Mike will be at an event at the end of July called Revival Summer Solstice, and that's at the Banks's Stadium in Walsall in the Midlands. If you want to come down and play some Dreamcast with us, have a chat, have a beer.
Holy crap.
We'll be there.
Now, wait a minute. Are these real places? Because it sounds like you're talking about a fantasy RPG setting.
Something out of Fable.
Well, we will be going to the Midlands. Which means we will have to pack extra supplies because the trip there is treacherous.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that, because J.R. Tolkien, who wrote The Hobbit and all that, he's actually from Birmingham, which is in the Midlands. So so apparently he modelled a lot of Middle Earth on places that he grew up. So that's quite a good analogy. Yeah, so Revival Solstice, that's on the 30th and the 31st of July. Check out revivalretroevents.co.uk if you want tickets. They are quite cheap, but with me, like I said, myself and Mike will be there. And the last thing in this section is that we are running a competition where you can win a copy of Leona's Tricky Adventures, which has been kindly supplied by KTX Software. They're the guys who made the game. We have 5 copies to give away, so just get yourself onto the Dreamcast Junkyard. There is a link there. There's no questions to answer. You just literally click on the thing to enter, and then you'll be entered into the draw. And then when it ends at the end of July, I will, pick 5 winners, or randomly generate 5 winners, and then they'll get a copy of Leona's Tricky Adventures. So, do that. Anyway, right, I've waffled on. Sorry, waffled? I've waffled on enough. Let's get down to business. Guys, we always begin by talking about what we've bought or played, and this is no different, really. So I'm going to start with you, Mike. Have you played anything on the Dreamcast or any other consoles this week or last week?
This week I've picked up a few different games. I had quite a large order from Japan, thanks to Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Which had several games in which I was on my pursuit for completion. The main one I've got is Puzzle Collection, which is the latest release from Orion, the guy who did Alice Mons Rescue and Lantern Philia.
Didn't he re-release it because he already released it for like the Jag CD or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's on Jaguar CD. I think it's on PC. It's a PC and Dreamcast disc, so it runs on both. It's got 3 games on there. It's got Yopaz Ice Star, Yopaz 3D, and Turtle Chomp.
Didn't even know about this.
I think his other games, that Elamzar and Philia, they're both PC and Dreamcast discs.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, and they were pretty good.
That's really cool.
I love Alice Mons Rescue. The game's amazing, and I've got to say, even though these games are they're obviously how can I put this nicely? They're obviously quite simple puzzle games.
Yeah.
But I found myself playing Turtle Chomp for about 3 hours, which was... Nice. I'm not entirely sure if that was more to my state of being slightly tired at the time. But no, it's a good game. It's actually not too bad. Bit more expensive than the other releases.
How much?
Well, it's €30, which I think currently is about £4 million. But I'm not quite sure. It's not too bad. It's a good little set. It's not from Qcast, who I believe released the other games.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
It's his own production. It's just a pretty simple dual case. But yeah, it's a good game.
I'll have to look that up.
Anything on the current gen?
On current gen,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I've got lots of things. Lego Star Wars Force Awakens.
Oh,
on
you're one of them,
PS4.
are you? You play those Lego games?
I've stopped playing Lego games many, many years ago, but I am a massive Star Wars fan, and Lego
okay.
Force Awakens is pretty good, actually. It's one of the better Lego games. It's been the best one I've played since, probably since the complete saga.
I think the only one I played is Lego. Is it Batman? I think there's a Lego Batman game.
Oh, there's 3 of them, though.
I can't remember which one it was. It was on the Vita. It was ages ago. I love the way. I love the noise of when the bricks kind of like all fall apart, and it just sounds really, really cool.
The thing with Lego games, it's perfect for retro video game collectors, because all you do in the games is just literally collect everything. And so we're all sort of geared towards it already, gearing towards those absolutely pointless quests for things that we don't need.
Oh yeah. In games and in real life.
Real life, yeah.
Cool. Okay, Mike, brilliant. Aaron, what about you? Have you been playing anything on the Dreamcast or other gens?
Mainly been playing stuff on the Mega Drive recently. Most of the stuff I've been playing has actually been for Let's Plays that I've been putting up on the channel. On Lucky Hit, we've been doing a South End of Sonic season for the anniversary. Okay. So most of the stuff I've been playing has actually been for that stuff. Like I got my hands on Sonic the Hedgehog's Game World for the Sega Pico the other week. Yeah. In fact, it arrived on the actual day of Sonic's anniversary, which was kind of cool, from Japan. So yeah, we played that for the channel. We just put up Sonic 1. It was my friend playing that, and yeah, mainly just Sonic stuff recently.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. All right then. What about you, Caleb? Have you played anything on the Dreamcast or otherwise?
I've messed around with some fighting games. I've been just verifying that I'm still pretty good at Soul Calibur. And, I've been doing a lot of actually selling stuff. Because, again, I go to the garage sales around here. I'm able to get, like, a really nice, like, cutting board and stuff. But when it comes to Dreamcast games, no, there's never been... I don't think I've seen a Dreamcast in the wild once in my 8 years here. For some reason, this area just doesn't have that much Dreamcast stuff. No, I did find that new VMU in package from a random garage sale a while back last year. So I've been mostly selling stuff on eBay. If I sell anything really good, I try to post it on the Facebook site for the fan site for the Dreamcast Junkyard. But whoever bought my Sega Sports Dreamcast, I think that was not one of the fans, because they didn't really let me know that it got there okay and everything like that. I don't understand eBay. If you're gonna spend that much money on stuff, just give feedback or let the seller know that like everything is cool. Because it's like, as a seller, like, even though like I'm sold like so much stuff, like I don't give feedback until after I get feedback back. Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea if this person's going to be satisfied with the purchase or not. So
I'm a little guilty of that, because even I do tell them when I receive it, but I don't leave feedback until I've actually tested it.
Yeah.
Like once I've got a game coming, I'll wait till, and sometimes it'll sit in my backlog for a month, and then I'll leave feedback about a month later.
I literally I sell something big like this sports Dreamcast, and it's like, you would think the person would test it, and I know for a fact that it's fine, because
if there was something wrong with it, you would soon know.
If
they didn't receive it, they'll soon let you know.
I sold that stupid Fire Emblem game for the GameCube, and the insane person who bought it was like constantly trying to tell me that it was broken, and after 15 minutes it would stop working, and I would just like I just tried to tell her, like, I think there's something wrong with your GameCube, and it's not my disc, because that thing's premium. And then when she sent it back, you can't make this stuff up, she sent it back loose in an envelope.
What? Just the disc?
Just the disc. I sent it to her.
Oh my God.
I have like a bunch of these like hard plastic cases, which are like heavy duty stuff, which are meant for like libraries. So like, they're actually like specifically meant to protect discs. And I sent that when I sold it to her and sent it to her in one of those. And when she sent it back after asking for a refund, just loose in a thing. It's craziness. So luckily I had to re-clean it and resurface it. And as far as I could see, it worked fine. I sat there and I played it for like, an hour, and everything was like perfectly fine. So it's just you're just gonna deal with these people, and it's really stupid. Like, you block people, and then you find out like you have this weird thing like PayPal will allow you to have multiple eBay accounts on the same PayPal. So you block a person, and then they'll keep on buying your stuff because they have a separate eBay account on the same PayPal. And it's just like, why little stuff like that? It's just like, why aren't you like eBay's still so ghetto. It's like, you are the largest company who does this.
Ridiculously biased towards buyers. Really, really, really biased.
Well, I mean, it's just they have bad rules. They have bad rules.
You can't even leave negative
everything.
feedback to buyers now. They just made it positive or report. That's all they've got.
Yeah,
they don't
amazing.
even have. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been working on my custom Dreamcast Junkyard fight stick, where I've just put down the epoxy, which is the little green epoxy stuff, and I'm going to be painting that up. I originally wanted to do it like with blood, but now I think with the color scheme, it'll actually look really good if I do it in like shades of like neon green and stuff. So it kind of looks like, slime or something. So I'm
looking at the images now that you've put up on Photo Bucket. Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I like that.
That's the unpainted, just green stuff epoxy that I use to just line the edges and stuff. So it'll be interesting once I join. I don't know if I'm going to even bother at this point changing out the buttons. I might do that in the future.
Well, on the subject of arcade sticks, I should probably move on to things that I've purchased in the last couple of weeks since our last episode. I picked up a really good condition arcade stick, completely boxed, mint condition, with a load of other stuff.
Nice.
And a lot of copy games that I've already got, so it was a really good deal that I got from Gumtree. If you're in the UK, you'll know what Gumtree is. If you're in the US, it's kind of like Craigslist.
You actually got something on Gumtree.
Yeah. I went and had a look. And
Gumtree's a bit of a mess.
I got amazing.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Yeah, I got an amazing deal on Craigslist once back in the day. So similar deal.
Yeah, so got the new arcade sticks, and I've got 2 of them for events. What else did I pick up recently? To be honest, I mean, I've picked up quite a bit of stuff in the intervening week since we did our last episode. I picked up I got a sign off eBay. It's a Dreamcast sign, like a 3D printed thing, and I got it again for events, so that when we have the display, I can put it kind of up on the wall, and people can kind of see the Dreamcast swirl. And it's basically the little sign on the top of the Dreamcast lid. It's one of those.
Oh, yeah, I saw this. It
massively
looks like
upscaled,
blown up, massive. Yeah,
yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really cool.
You need to just get a giant Dreamcast to stick it on there.
Yeah. So I got one of those. I've been playing Propeller Arena. We're going to talk about Propeller Arena a little bit later on, but I've been playing that because I wrote a review of it for the Dreamcast Junkyard. Non-Dreamcast stuff. I've been playing a game called Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors on the Vita, which is
nice.
Incredible.
Have you seen the DLC for that?
Yes, with all the
Have you seen the DLC for that? All the Sega DLC. It's amazing.
Brilliant. It's an amazing game.
Play that.
There's so much stuff to do.
On PC at some point.
Yeah, there's so much stuff to do. The only downside that I can see to it is that it's not cross-buy between Vita and PS4. So if you buy the Vita version, you've just got the Vita version, and likewise with the PS4
think that
version.
Would just be a given, but
apparently not. Elsewhere, other retro stuff. Other retro stuff I've picked up. I've picked up a couple of 3DO games. I got Space Hulk and Starfighter for the 3DO.
Oh wow! Didn't realise. I didn't know you had a 3DO.
Yeah, I collect the 3DO as well. Yeah. I also picked up.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I picked up a game called Baldies and another one called Ultra Vortec for the Atari Jaguar.
I've heard of Baldies.
Yeah, it's kind of like a God Sim, for the Jag CD. A bit like kind of like Command and Conquer, but not, if you know what I mean.
I think there was like a Japanese Saturn version of that.
Really?
Rightly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was actually quite popular in Japan, I think, and they ported it all over the place, including the Sega Saturn, but it was Japan only for some reason.
I have no idea. I will look into that. That's quite interesting. On the PS4, I've been playing, again, Uncharted 4, Doom, and a game called The Order 1886, which looks amazing, but is actually quite boring.
Terrible.
But some of the best moustaches and sideburns I've ever seen in a game, so it's got that going for it anyway. Anyway, that's all well and good. We've spoken about what we've been playing, what we've picked up, but we need to move on now to the news. There's been quite a lot of Dreamcast-related news in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about that now. The first thing we want to talk about is something that is quite close to Mike's heart, I should say. Mike, you've been on a shopping trip.
I have, Tom. I have.
Yes, Forbidden Planet. For those people who don't know, Forbidden Planet is it's a store. It's a UK-based store that they sell comic books. They sell kind of like It's kind of like an alt. Would you call it alt culture kind of store where they have like comic books, film?
It's a geek
It's
store.
mostly a comic shop. It's mostly a comic shop, but they sell the merch as well.
No, the Forbidden Planet nowadays is far more than a comic shop. The one in Bristol, I don't know about the rest of the country, but the one in Bristol's got quite a small comic section.
The one in Southampton has got like the whole of the downstairs is just basically comic books and like
Yeah,
art
same
books.
with the London one.
The Cardiff one's similar as well. The Bristol one is mostly books and just tons and tons and tons of geek stuff.
I'm trying to think where the Bristol one is. Where is it?
It's in Clifton, so it's in a posh part of Bristol.
Yeah, I know Clifton quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's in Clifton.
The other thing is there's
I know
actually
it is,
two Forbidden Planets, isn't there? There's two completely different companies that have their own comic shops called Forbidden Planet.
I think there's another one, isn't there?
Yeah,
But this
there's the one that they call whatever.
Anyway, Mike, tell us what you've been buying at Forbidden Planet.
So, as a big, massive Dreamcast fan, I was stood outside, looking in the window at the T-shirts, and I noticed there was a beat from Jet Radio, or Jet Grind Radio, if you're not from Britain, in the window. And I
Or
thought,
Japan.
I'm about it. But obviously, I looked at the window, it's like, that's odd. It must not be. But no, sure enough, there was...
Cartoon double take.
It was literally a whole run of Dreamcast T-shirts. So go in the shop, go straight to the desk, ask the woman behind the desk in a slightly startled fashion, show me your Dreamcast stuff. It's my exact words, show me your Dreamcast stuff.
Show me your Dreamcast.
And in the gaming section, which is usually full of, tons of Nintendo and Sony stuff, there is a whole run of Dreamcast. Official Dreamcast merchandise.
Can I'd like to say I think this is how it goes. He goes, "Hi, you show me Dreamcast stuff, you know what I mean? I'm here for Dreamcast stuff. Now you listen to me. Now you lot here, you're gonna go in the back and you're gonna give me all the Dreamcast stuff you got. Or this is gonna be a real problem."
I think that would be me if I was in a London gangster film.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure.
That's apparently what the UK is actually like.
Pirate accent. Try a pirate accent.
Isn't that how all you guys sound?
That is realistic. No, that's totally realistic.
Yeah. That sounded like when what's his name? Is it not Ben Kingsley? In The Departed, where I forgot his name. There's a British guy in The Departed. He's trying to do Ray Winston. He's trying to do a Boston accent.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely terrible.
It is, yeah.
That was on a level with that, Caleb. So, So can you talk about the quality of the t-shirts and things?
There's t-shirts, there's mugs, there's passport holders, cup holders, type things. Not cup holders, sorry, card holders. And coasters. The mugs are brilliant. Really good mugs, solid mugs, good designs. T-shirts. I'm actually wearing my Jet Set Radio T-shirt now. They're actually really high quality. The Jet Set Radio one's really good. The Dreamcast, there's a Dreamcast Blueprint one, which is also really, really good quality. The other one's Shenmue 2. I think they probably just picked a random Shenmue image and used it. It's all right.
I think it's box art, but
I think that's the weakest of the lot. To
it is,
the Shenmue 2 one. Yeah.
And it's quite low quality. You go in quite close, and it looks a little bit. It's pixelated. It doesn't look as good quality.
They couldn't get a high enough resolution.
Exactly.
Picture,
Yeah. And they repeat these 3 images on everything. So you've got the mugs, you've got the coasters, you've got everything else.
You know what kind of bugged me about the designs of it? Like the greetings cards, and they've got the passport holders.
Yeah.
And they've done sort of like fake Dreamcast box arts as if they were in DVD cases. And they've sort of like taken bits of like the actual PAL ones and sort of like cobbled them together in a weird way. It kind of looks like all those like repro cases you see on like eBay and stuff.
Yeah, I think that the cards could have been better if they were.
When because they also did a Mega Drive range last year, and they're still selling them, and they actually straight up used the original Mega Drive covers. But for some reason, with the Dreamcast stuff, they just made up this weird banner, and it kind of looks a bit weird. But it's only on like certain things.
Yeah,
so it's not like
I imagine their cards, the greetings cards, are all one size, and rather than being square, they've gone for the.
So they had to make it a DVD style.
Well, I haven't seen the cards.
The only other thing that has bugged me is they made a Mega Drive range and they made a Dreamcast range. Where's the Sega Saturn range? Get on that. I know it's not as popular, but come on, do the Saturn range. It'd be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Get some Nights into Dreams and Sonic R t-shirts out there. Sonic R t-shirt.
there's Saturn stuff around. Also, got these notepads. I'm not sure if people have seen the notepads.
I'm holding one of those in my hand right now.
The specific Forbidden Planet range, they went from Mega Drive to Dreamcast. They completely skipped over Saturn so far. maybe they'll come back to it.
I would wear a Crypt Killer t-shirt.
So would I. Yeah. With Nathan t-shirt.
Yeah. Excellent. So, would you recommend these items then, Mike?
I recommend anything with Dreamcast on, Tom.
Anything.
Anything?
Yeah.
Piece of poo with Dreamcast on it.
Well, it's
It's in the shape of a Dreamcast swirl.
That's called Spirit of Speed, I believe.
When you look at it from above.
Dreamcast on it.
Right, excellent. Okay, let's move on to the next topic of news that we've got. Now, this is interesting. Wind and Water Puzzle Battles has been reissued.
Yes.
Guys, I've never played this game. I know that you have, Aaron. And I know that you have as well, Caleb, because you two are both in the game.
Yes.
And, it's been reissued. I've gone on the dragonbox.de website and ordered a copy for myself.
Absolute bargain. It's so cheap now. Yeah.
It's €9.99 or £20,000 again, as we said earlier. Post Brexit. It's a really cool looking puzzle game. It's very, it's got a lot of very high production values. What are your experiences with it, guys?
Absolutely love that game. I haven't played it for a long time now, but my God, it's so full of content and there's so much depth to it. Like,
I just love the pixelated graphics and stuff.
The pixel art's lovely, the animation quality and all that kind of stuff. It really feels like a classic, a game that could have come out on the Saturn or something.
Do you guys actually play as yourselves in the game?
You can't, no. How it works is you put the code in and there's like a stats screen where you can see how long you've been playing it for, what your best scores are and all that kind of stuff. And when you put the code in, your character pops up there. So you can't play as them as such. They don't have like animation or anything. It is just that one sprite. But it's basically for your stats.
I kind of had the impression that it was like, on Puzzle Bobble.
That would be incredible, but that would take so much work. They'd have to. It would be weird if the characters were not animating and yet all the other ones do. So I guess that was.
I love how they made me have angry eyebrows. In my little sprite. That was pretty great.
I love that on my one, they actually, because the photo I sent them, I was wearing a brown t-shirt with Sonic on it, and they actually put in 4 pixels that are like blue, red, and white. So it actually looks like 4 little pixels that represent Sonic. It was really clever.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, nice. Excellent. So, I'm still waiting for my copy to arrive in the post. Hoping it'll come next week, because I really want to give this game a go.
I gotta say, I think the quality of the production is going to be pretty good, because I'm looking at my copy of Fruity right now, and it was such a nice little case that they put together.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't know how. Is it going to be in a long case or is it going to be
jewel case?
It's going to be a jewel case, right?
Yeah. So hopefully they're reprinting the manual from the original version.
They have.
Yes, I believe they are.
Cool. Because the manual was really, really good quality. Like full of, it had both English and Japanese in it, I believe.
Yeah.
Had loads of artwork in it, all full color. So it was.
I think
it was a lovely presentation.
All they've changed is they've removed the Red Spot Games logo.
As far as
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking around on Google trying to steal images from other places, and I noticed that some of them did have the Red Spot Games logo, and some of them didn't. So I believe that's the only difference. But I'm really looking forward to that arriving, so I can give that a go. Might even do a sort of a retrospective review.
Probably I'd say it's now one of the best puzzle games on the system, because like the more you play it, they just keep introducing more and more and more mechanics, and after a while it actually gets a little bit overwhelming. There's just so much depth. They keep introducing new little subtleties to how you can move all the pieces around and how they combine in certain ways and clear in certain ways, and it's a lot to it. more than meets the eye, definitely. When you first play it, it seems quite simple, but then it just keeps expanding and expanding, and they just keep it really has a lot going for it.
I'm going to be sat there at work all next week just like thinking, has it arrived, and then get home and then it's not coming. I'm like, I've got to wait another day for it to arrive.
I've got one of those, Tom. I've got something on the way now. I picked up the biggest bargain on eBay ever, which I will reveal when we get it. Yeah. When I get it, but
fair enough.
I still don't believe it's going to arrive.
That actually reminds me. I actually did see the giant Skies of Arcadia statue.
Oh,
what?
Like the huge.
Oh, you mean the first for figures?
Yeah. Well, I don't.
With the flag.
Well, yeah, it's a Vice, the main character guy, and it's like the big giant one. That's Dreamcast stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they literally it was Yeah, it was open box and it was all beat up, and they wanted $300 for it. So
that's about what it costs to get one new, surely.
Oh yes,
I think that's about what they are.
This is what they do. This is what they do. They sell stuff online. All these physical thrift stores and places that buy stuff,
right.
They never actually stock anything in store at a reasonable price. Even though they could sell that and then say, okay, well, eBay's going to take out this much, PayPal's going to take out this much. We could just sell it in the shop for a reasonable price. For some reason, they don't want to do that. They just want to sell all the good stuff on eBay, and then you walk in the store and it's all like just crap that they can't sell on eBay. It's ridiculous.
The funny thing about First for Figures as well is they actually have like a sort of rule with their stuff where if your statue arrives even slightly damaged, they will replace it, but only if you send up a photo of it smashed. Like, you actually have to break it more. Like, you actually have to show it absolutely smashed to pieces, and then they'll send you a new one.
So there you go, folks. Smash your statues up and you get a new one.
It's like one little thing came off. I know my Supersonic statue I got from them, I put it on my... I was like dusting my shelf once, and for some stupid reason, I placed it on the bed, and it dropped over on the bed, and his nose came off.
I've got this image in my head of you just kind of like with his like apron on, with like a feather duster, like.
These game shelves, they get really bloody dusty. All right. So yeah, his nose popped off at one point, but I glued it back on. I didn't smash it up and get a new one.
Yeah, my Terry Jaguar shelf's quite dusty. That's still how often I play on it.
Get your apron on. Get your Jaguar CD apron on. You do have one of those, right?
Yes, but it's only for like private showing. So it's not,
only you and me, right? Only you and me have seen that.
Yeah, it's just me and you. Don't tell everyone, Jesus. Right, okay, cool. So Wind and Water Puzzle Battles reissued. It's out now. Go and have a look at that.
Get it. If you missed out last time, and they did actually flog it off quite cheap after a while, the Red Spot Games version, I think it was about 15-20 quid at one point. Yeah, definitely grab it for this price because it's well worth that. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a little break and we'll be back after this.
Will you stop playing that radio of yours? I'm trying to get to sleep.
And we're back in the room. Okay, news, more news. The news just keeps coming. Last week, a guy called Jonathan Seamus Blackley tweeted some images of a prototype Xbox controller that he was working on, or that they came up with when they were coming up with the original design of the original Xbox. And the most sort of puzzling thing was that it had a kind of a VMU type device with it.
Yeah.
And there's about 4 or 5 of the designs, and they all have a VMU. And when pressed about why this had a Dreamcast VMU on Twitter, he said, oh, well, Dreamcast was king at the time, so we were kind of looking at that for inspiration. And I just thought it was really, really fascinating. I mean, at the time when I saw those tweets, I didn't actually know, I'm going to admit this, I didn't know who he was. So I actually tweeted at him saying, like, are these genuine? Like, how do we know they're not just like faking? Yeah, and all he did was he favorited it, and he must have thought, who's this guy? Do you know what I mean?
Did you ask him why they have Power Stone characters in the corners of them?
I didn't, but I did think that was quite interesting as well. I mean, maybe there was going to be a Power Stone game for the Xbox or something. I
doubt that. I think they probably just put them on there because it was like, hey, Dreamcast is king. Look, there's a Power Stone character.
Am I making this up in my head? But wasn't the whole thing wasn't the Xbox going to be like Dreamcast compatible for
At
a while?
some stage, there was rumours about that. Whether or not they actually went ahead with that is, well, Sega probably said no.
Somebody actually asked him that on Twitter, and he said that was never actually a thing. So I think that maybe just like a myth that's kind of grown up around the Xbox.
I'd say it probably is just a myth.
Yeah. But I take it you guys have seen these controller designs.
It makes sense if you've ever seen the original the Bear controller, I believe they call it. The Bear Paw controller, which was a great controller for people who actually have normal sized hands like me. Who have American-sized hands.
On that note, Caleb, happy 4th of July. It went in the last week. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Yep.
Didn't they call it the Duke over here? That original Xbox?
Yes, it was called the Duke.
The original Xbox controller,
I believe so. Yeah.
So anyways, it's got all this space in the front where that giant Xbox logo is. So I'm assuming that the original design was to have something there instead of just the giant logo.
I remember when I first played on an Xbox, and the first thing I did was I tried to press that thing in to see if it did anything. And it's just a plastic. Just a plastic
Yeah, because
logo.
like the PS3 controller's got like a PlayStation thing in the middle, and that is actually a button. So yeah, I would have assumed that was a big green button as well.
It's interesting though, because when you do, it's an interesting point that you make there, Caleb, because if you do look at the original or even the controller S, they do still have the slots in the top for like removable memory cards.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah.
Why they wouldn't have had maybe had the hole for some kind of screen like a VMU is it's quite
I
interesting.
mean, it's not like they would have been the first ones to rip off the VMU. There was the Pocket Station, which was kind of like come out.
Has anyone played one of those? Has anyone got one?
Can't say I have. But...
No, me neither. I saw one once in a shop, but I think he wanted like £85 for it. So I was like, no.
I think all those crazy people who play Final Fantasy VII want the Pocket Station so they can get the little chocobo, not the little. I'm sorry. Whatever the little Final Fantasy Moogle guy summon, I think that's the only way you can get that in the game is to use a pop station, I think.
Yeah. Wow, weird.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was an interesting, like, kind of like a footnote in like Dreamcast and Xbox because they are. I mean,
the designs are really weird. Like, did you notice how like the wires sort of like split off in two and then join back together or something?
Yeah,
and
that's
it
weird.
wasn't even just a VMU thing that made them resemble Dreamcast controllers. A couple of them were actually kind of shaped like one. Yeah. One of them looked like a Dreamcast controller flipped upside down in some way. Maybe so the wire would be at the bottom or whatever, at the top instead, so people could stop moaning about that weird thing about the wire being at the bottom, which I never understood the complaints about. But
I think one of the weirdest things for me was the fact that they all look like really painful to hold.
They do.
They actually look like, in some cases, they kind of look like Dreamcast third-party concontrollers.
yeah, or medieval torture devices.
Yeah.
There you go. Play Panzer Dragoon Auto with this. Yeah. You need three hands. If you want to see those designs, we'll put a link in the show notes to this episode. And if you just type Dream, it's an interesting footnote in Dreamcast development.
Or Xbox, but
Xbox development. Yeah, Xbox Dreamcast.
Inspired by Dreamcast.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic of discussion, and that is Propeller Arena. Now, I've noticed a trend developing on the internet recently, not just with the Dreamcast 2 thing, but with everything. If somebody wants something, they rather than doing it themselves or going through official channels to maybe see if it can be done, people think that if they just create a petition, that somebody will look at it and go, "That's a good idea. We'll do that." And the new one is that somebody has decided to create a petition to get Propeller Arena remade, re-released,
ported
on modern consoles.
HD port, yeah.
I mean, as much as I like the idea, I very much doubt that whoever created the petition realizes how much work goes into porting a game, especially one for the Dreamcast, B, that was never released, and C, that it's full of licensed music and all that kind of thing. At the time of writing, the petition is up to a massive 40 signatures.
Okay. Well, that'll get Sega interested. Considering all the games that Sega are always constantly badgered to make, and they can go, look, we've got 100,000 people that would be interested. They still go, nope. So, or look, we got 6 million people that would buy this. We have money right now that you can have. Sega will go, nope.
I don't want to look. I don't want to sound like I'm being. I'm singling the guy out.
No,
the guy
no,
who created
no, no.
It's called Luis N. He's from Brazil apparently. And yeah, you got 40 people who've signed it.
It's commendable, It's a game that would be worthy of being re-released because it is a really good game. But
I totally agree with that.
I'm just not convinced Sega would want to because the reason they cut it was for quite a serious reason.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be associated in any way with 9/11,
which it always is now.
Just as they were about to release. And it's already got that stigma attached to it,
exactly.
even though it's, obviously just a coincidence. But, they can't, even if they cut out like a level that had skyscrapers and stuff, it probably still wouldn't be enough because as soon as people Google up Propeller Arena, they'll say why it didn't come out in the first place. Yeah. Be like, ooh. So
yeah, I mean, I read something quite interesting. I mean, when I was I recently wrote a retrospective kind of review for the Dreamcast Junkyard on Propeller Arena, and I explain in a paragraph why it was cancelled. And I believe that they were actually trying to cut that particular level. It's called Tower City, and any reference to it from the game. But because it was such a late release for the Dreamcast, they kind of thought there's no point. Do you know what I mean? The Dreamcast dead.
It was late 2001 we're talking about. So at this point, they were trying to cut their losses as it was. So yeah.
One of the things, just talking about Propeller Arena as a game in itself, one of the things that kind of really struck me about the game is just how good the soundtrack is.
Yeah.
It's all licensed music. You've got bands like, help me out, Mike.
Well, you're asking me now, Tom. Oh, no.
Put you on the spot.
There's some good bands I know, and I can't remember what they are.
Rise Against.
Rise Against one there.
I was going through the track listing on the options menu, just listening to the songs, and I was just like, these are all really good. And they're on a par with, how The Offspring are kind of synonymous with Crazy Taxi.
I was going to say, this game really was going for that same feel.
Yeah.
Getting licensed music that really suits.
It's early. It's Tony Hawk style music as well. Early 90s.
Oh, definitely.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Third wave punk rival. It's music I like.
Yeah, definitely.
There's another band called Consumed.
Consumed are an amazing band. They're from Britain. Consumed are an amazing band. I think Nottingham, they were. Seen them live dozens of times. They quit a few years ago, but an amazing band. They were also on Tony Hawk's.
Nice bit of info there, Mike. Fantastic. But what do you think about this petition? I mean, it's obviously not going to get...
No.
It's never going to get looked at by Sega, but I just thought...
I blame Shenmue. For the second podcast in a row, I'm going to get every single Shenmue fan hating me.
It's weird, though.
The case with Shenmue wasn't so much... It was just like a single petition. That was people just posting on every single post Sega made on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere for about 7 years.
Yeah, at least.
And Sega were just like, you know what? Yu Suzuki, please take it away so we don't have to worry about it.
I think the problem is that the Shenmue petition, I think, it's made people think that anyone who wants to get a game revived or a console started in the
totally has. Now, everyone that was moaning about Shenmue 3 in Sega's comments are now going on about Sonic Adventure 3 and countless other things that probably... I don't know why, honestly. Sonic Adventure 3 already happened at least twice, and it was called Sonic 2006, and we know how well that turned out. And Sonic Unleashed, aka Sonic World Adventure in Japan. So, it already happened.
The thing is, I've kind of noticed the trend where it's like somebody just kind of has this epiphany, wouldn't it be great if this game was re-released? And then they go and type up this petition and then try to get it all kind of, shared around the internet. And it's just like, it doesn't work like that. You can't just make a game out of nothing and expect a team of programmers to just appear and port a game to a whole new system.
There's a lot of people who think that literally all you got to do is almost put a disc in from one console to a PC and press...
Hit the port button.
Which I'm not a programmer, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
Yeah. I just thought it was worth bringing up because it's kind of been covered by the mainstream gaming press as well. Once again, the Dreamcast hits the gaming headlines because of the entitlement of the Dreamcast fan base or people who weren't even around when the Dreamcast was a contemporary system, just kind of jumping on it and trying to make it their own because anything to do with the Dreamcast always gets media attention.
Back in 2005, 2006, there was this weird thing where one of the first things that was happening on YouTube is people smashing consoles. So it was all these kids who hopped on the bandwagon of smashing Dreamcast consoles because it was they they couldn't afford to smash like a console that was actually like a new one, so they would go and then they would just like smash Dreamcast consoles, and that was like a thing. Yeah, it was like super weird. You remember that in YouTube where apparently that was a thing where you just smash a new console and people would like watch it. It's like, what is? Anyway, so that's like it's weird how like it's like I don't think those people were like I don't think the people who smashed the Dreamcast necessarily didn't like the Dreamcast, and I don't think the people who are hopping on board for all these projects are necessarily like real fans of the Dreamcast. I think these are just people that are just kind of doing the whole bandwagon thing where they just see something that's popular and they hop on the old bandwagon. That's what's going on.
That could be, you know what, that could be the Dreamcast 2 slogan. I could just base it on the original European Dreamcast one. Up to 6 billion hipsters.
Brilliant. Cool. Gentlemen, I think we've covered everything on the crib sheet, unless there's anything anyone else wants to discuss.
Oh, there's a new Dreamcast game on Kickstarter, isn't there?
Oh yeah, tell us about that. Yeah, tell us about that. Is it this?
I can't remember the name of it.
Is it the 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up?
Yeah, Shinobi style. Oh, help me out.
Let me have a quick look.
Hopefully they're not calling it Shadow Dancer, because that was weird. It's a Shinobi game.
I will edit this out.
All Shenmue fans are assholes. I'm just gonna. So you can edit it out then.
That will be kept in.
I will say, though, I do love Shenmue, right?
It's not. Where is it? It's not here.
Oh, it didn't get cancelled, did it?
I think Stephen on Dreamcast Hub just did a like for it, so it must be still in there.
Here we go. It's called Shadow Gangs.
Shadow Gangs.
So Shadow Gangs. Yeah. This is it's an 80s themed ninja arcade action revival, according to the Kickstarter. Yeah. Have you backed this, Mike?
I have not. No,
I've not backed it either. I mean, I guess there comes a point where like saturation
just
reaches
been too many Kickstarters recently.
I'm still waiting on Alice Dreams Tournament and Shenmue 3, the only game I've kickstarted, and also I'm still waiting on Slave. I know that's not Kickstarter, but I don't know. I don't really want to back any more stuff.
It's kind of gotten to the point now where I actually want to see. I mean, like. I chipped in on the Xenodrifter one because they actually had a demo you could burn off and try, and you could see that they'd started it and it was actually running on a Dreamcast and really well. Whereas there's a lot of Kickstarters coming out where they promise Dreamcast, but then they don't really give you any evidence that it is actually being programmed for the Dreamcast yet, you know?
Yeah, it's like it'd be a stretch goal, you know, Dreamcast version, stretch goal.
It's got
Star Sheriff
Saber Rider next year, yeah.
They put out a Dreamcast disc, didn't they? And you burnt it and put it in, and it was just like a slideshow of pictures or something.
That is still coming out on Dreamcast next year, isn't it?
They've got a Tumblr page where they put up progress cycle, the animation and all that kind of stuff, so that's good. Yeah. But in the case of that, I'm going to wait till it's actually pressed and out, and then I'm going to pay for it. You know, I want to see it pressed and released.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was weird that like Volgar the Viking had a fully working Dreamcast version.
Yeah,
that they just released for free because it's
weird.
Just so weird.
It is odd because they could have easily made money off that.
It's both interesting and also slightly odd that there are so many like Dreamcast Kickstarter projects. But you know, we'll wait and see what happens with this new one.
Yeah, I mean the actual game looks kind of interesting. Like I do like the idea of bringing a new. Visually, it kind of looks a little bit. I don't want to say amateurish, but like it kind of has a bit of a sort of clip arty look to it. It's got lots of gradients and that kind of look to it. But I do like the idea of a new Shinobi style game because I do really like those, like in particular, like Shadow Dancer and Revenge of Shinobi and all that kind of stuff. I do like those games. So if they could actually pull this off at some point.
Okay, gentlemen, that's a good note to leave it on. I think we've discussed quite a lot this episode, and hopefully you, the listener, have enjoyed listening to us discuss all that rubbish. So usual things, just a little bit of an outro here. We can be found on Twitter at the DC Junkyard, and we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/Dreamcast Junkyard, and also groups / the Dreamcast Junkyard. We can all be found individually at our own little destinations on Twitter and or elsewhere on the internet. Aaron, you are on Twitter at
The Gaggerman and also Lucky Hit Series.
Yep, and you're also on YouTube at Lucky Hit series, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Caleb, you are also on YouTube.
Yep, I'm on YouTube at Bland Co. That's Bland CO. I'm doing mostly some miniature review stuff, but there will be some more Dreamcast projects coming out. I want to say two things real quick as we wrap up. Number one, it was Final Fantasy VIII that had the compatibility with the portable, yeah. And then the other thing is that I am starting a petition to revamp Bloop. The 2003 homebrew Dreamcast game that used the light gun. So look for that. I'm going to be doing an online campaign, and you can give me money for that, and I will be rebooting Bloop, the 2003 homebrew game for the Dreamcast, which utilized the light gun. I'm very excited about this project. I have literally hundreds.
Why aren't you doing a petition for Drill after that big rant about it?
Gagame. It's a scam. It's a scam. Tom, cut this out.
Yeah.
Gagame. It's a scam. It's a scam. I'm just gonna... The guy released it for free, so I can just grab it, and I'll just put that up on Kickstarter and say that's the demo, and then I'll just get a bunch of money, and I won't do anything.
I'll cut this out, don't worry.
God, okay, Tom, let's just cut back in. So anyways, I'm really excited about this project. I know there's a lot of real Sega fans that will step up to the plate and help me out with this, and I just want to thank you guys so much. I've gotten so much money. Literally dozens of people from Sega have contacted me personally and said they're very interested in this project. So look again. Bloop, I'm not screwing around here. I'm doing both a Kickstarter and an Indiegogo, and I have a PayPal account. It looks like it's just my name, but if you just put money directly into that PayPal account, it's not going to me. It's going to the project, which is Bloop, the Sega Dreamcast light gun game. It's going to be great, guys. Super psyched.
Have you got Patreon for that as well? Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I actually have 3 Patreons because there's different facets of the game.
Excellent. Cool. Okay. And also, Mike, you can be found on Twitter at
space_turnip.
Space_turnip. And also, if you want to see Mike's face in reality, you can come down to Revival Solstice at the end of July, because myself and Mike will both be there.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at TomLeeC. And once again, massive thanks to everyone who has donated to the Patreon. We're very, very, thankful that you've done that. And
the Bloop one.
Yeah, the Bloop one and the Dreamcast Junkyard.
Can I also mention that me and Jerry Terrier from Lucky Hit will be at Play Expo Margate.
Okay.
We'll be just around, so if you want to bump into us there, we'll be there.
Brilliant. So get down to Play Expo Margate and harass Aaron.
Yeah, please do. I like a bit of harassing.
That'll do for us. Thanks very much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode. Everybody say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Goodbye.
2016 Bloop. 2016 Bloop.
Please stop this disc now.